Brendan Waye is truly in love with all things tea. His tea journey began in the Arctic, where he sipped black tea with the Inuit. His adventure has now gone a bit urban. He's a tea sommelier, a tea instructor, and consultant. It is my pleasure to welcome Brendan Waye back to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Good morning.
About matcha.
Matcha. All things matcha.
It's matcha.
It's actually spelled M-A-C-C-H-A too, and not M-A-T-C-H-A.
Really? I've been spelling it wrong.
That's the English bastardized way to say it.
Oh, is that it?
It is, yeah.
So it's matcha.
The Japanese are turning over in their grave every time
I'm
we
sure
spell
they are,
it that
yeah,
way.
because I say matcha, you say matcha,
Yeah.
potato, but
Exactly.
okay, so matcha. Where does matcha come from?
Well, it was discovered drinking it about 900 years ago by Buddhist monks, and what they realized is that if you take the tiny grown tea leaves and you grind it up into fine powder, and you ingest the liquid and the leaf with it, it gives you this incredible energy boost, which probably lasts up to 6 hours. So it stimulates alpha waves in the brain, so it allows you to it's called restful, heightened sense of awareness.
Really? We like that.
We like that.
Can you over matcha?
You can, unfortunately.
Get a little hyped up?
Yeah, they recommend about 8 grams a day maximum, which would be about 3 to 4 bowls, which you would never drink that much anyways.
No.
But I do have a funny story about a guy who drank 30 grams a day and he almost killed himself. He toxified his liver. So.
Oh my.
Yeah.
The Guinness Book of Records.
Went over the top
be gone.
with it, yeah.
Don't go over the balance.
Yeah, balance.
Okay,
exactly.
and it's healthy. It's
super
mood
healthy.
enhancing, it's healthy. Why is it healthy?
Well, one of the things that, unlike a lot of green tea drinking, when you drink matcha, you're ingesting the leaves, so you're giving your body this incredibly huge dose of chlorophyll. And if you know anything about chlorophyll, it's one of the greatest ways to clean free radicals out of your system. So chlorophyll has a lot of function with cells, with our cells, so it interacts with them, and it boosts their ability to fight diseases and things like that. So that's a really great component of matcha, and you only get that in matcha because you're actually ingesting the leaf.
Okay, is there caffeine in matcha?
Yeah, there is a stimulant called L-theanine, and it's a rare amino acid that it only exists in green tea. And it's in the highest concentrations again in matcha, simply because we're ingesting the leaf when we drink the tea.
Okay, and being a premium tea guy and an instructor at VCC, how do you know if it's good matcha, not so good matcha?
Well, we can take a look here today, and I'll actually show you a little bit of what you're doing when you're buying matcha. Is you're looking for color, and what you're looking for is something very, very bright and vibrant. So if you look at that one.
Right, and why is it so fine? Or how do they get it so fine?
It's a lengthy process where they take stone mill grinders, and for every hour that these grinders are twisting, about an ounce of this ground fine talcum powder quality matcha falls out the side. You can't grind it fast because of the heat. If you raise the heat, you destroy the antioxidants.
Okay.
So here's another
Here's
another local brand, and I don't know if you can see the difference between the color and the green there.
You'd have to be very discerning.
But you can see that one's slightly
lighter.
And let's look at a fresh can. So when you buy it, you want to pull off the tab, and you want to buy it so that it's super, super fresh, because it only lasts about 6 weeks after you open it. And you look at that.
Oh, okay. So I guess my matcha.
So that would be 3 varieties.
Away.
Now I have to preface this by saying these are all of ceremonial grade. There's 2 grades of matcha. There's ingredient grade, which you find in ice cream and chocolate bars and desserts. And then there's the grade called ceremonial, which is to be drank on its own. Okay?
Okay, so let's have a ceremony. We have
we're
5
gonna do
minutes to have a ceremony. I'll just sit back.
Do you want the summer bowl or the winter bowl?
Gee, I don't know. I kind of like the summer bowl.
The summer bowl? Okay, we'll do it in the summer bowl.
Okay.
These are called chowans. That's a traditional name for them. So one of the things you need to do when you make matcha is you want to sift it, just like you do with your flour if you're going to bake some pastries, right? So you sift it through the
sifter.
The sifter.
Well, this is not grab a cup of tea and go.
Yeah. And then
dip tea, no.
And then the other really key component about drinking matcha, if you want to enjoy it, is you can't use boiling hot water because you'll scald the leaves, and what happens is the bitterness, all you're going to get is a lot of bitterness.
Right. Is that true with green tea in general?
It is, generally, yeah. I like to use water below 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
Great. So do you
That's
have
why
a
I bought my little
thermometer?
I did. I brought a thermometer. I am a tea sommelier. So this will tell you right away in about, it's, what are we at? 167.
It says 21.8. It's counting down.
182.
Okay.
So we'll just let that sit for a minute.
So that's too hot.
It is. We're going to let it sit for just a second.
We don't want to wreck the leaves.
We don't.
Although I probably wouldn't know the difference, or would I? Just between degrees?
Really? If you were using scalding hot water and someone made you a matcha with a bowl of really hot water versus a bowl, and you had them side by side,
yeah, you'd know.
You wouldn't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out that there's something wrong with this.
Okay.
And you'll find that. The tools we use, this is called a chasen.
Right.
And the chasen is the whisk.
Right.
The chowan is the bowl. And the chisaku is the scoop. Those are the three tools.
Okay, run that by me again. The
chasen.
The chasen
which is a bamboo whisk.
Right.
The chisaku, which is the scoop used in the traditional, and then the chowan is the bowl. So they're all C's, CH's, if you remember. Chasen, chisaku, chowan.
Of course I will.
So there you go. Just skilled a few minutes.
Get the whisk, and it's on a pottery stand, and you have to keep it that way so the whisk doesn't come together.
And this is the chasen naoshi. So what this does, when this gets wet, you want to reform it back into its nice shape.
Got it.
Because if you, after a few uses, it's actually going to look like that.
I was thinking, and you don't use a metal whisk ever?
Never use a metal whisk. You won't get the fine foam, which you're going to see me make right now.
And that is, what's that made of? Not horsehair.
No, this is bamboo, and it's hand done, where they actually take the shards of bamboo and they cut them into these little tines. And the more tines, because you can buy these with 80 tines, even up to 180 tines, and they're all done by hand. So this is a lengthy process.
And how do you clean that? Or
do
you have to clean
swish
that?
it in hot water. Swish it in hot water.
Okay, are we ready?
We are. So here's the key: is you're only going to put in about 2 ounces of hot water. Okay, so you pour it right in on the leaves. It's just about that much.
Right.
You take your whisk, and the whisking motion is, if you think of the letter M for matcha, you're whisking across the surface, and it's a very fast motion. The reason why you want it to be fast is because the more foam you create, the more the matcha gets suspended in the foam and doesn't settle out in the bottom.
Somebody's going to make a matcha blender. You just know it's coming, right?
Oh, you know what? The traditional way to do it, no one's ever beat it. So it's a 15-second whisk, and then you slow it down, essentially. Take your whisk out. You can drop it back on there.
So beautiful, really.
And then what you're left with is this really nice, beautiful, fine beverage.
And that's ready to drink. You don't
add more water. It is, just like that.
No,
because it's a 3-sip thing. It's not a big mug of tea. It's 3 sips, it's gone, and there's a little ritual around how you sip it, too. You're supposed to turn the bowl.
And all the free radicals leave my system. Is that a good thing?
Well, it takes a little while.
Radicals,
you have to start a regime of this 1 a day. And what happens is over time, first thing you're going to find is that you're going to see a 35% boost in your metabolic rate. And that's one of the greatest things about matcha for losing weight, is you operate at a higher frequency. So you're just like gyrating at this level.
But you're not nervous.
No, not at all. And that's where the L-theanine comes in, is because it doesn't give you that coffee jittery thing. It gives you a really smooth.
Sure, and your brain works better, and you feel more energetic. And does your muffin top go away? Perhaps you've never had one of those, but if you know what I mean. Well, it's that little bit of fat that sticks over your belt.
Oh, that one, yeah.
So,
well, the thing is, it's going to help.
If your metabolic rate is faster,
it's going to get you off the couch too. You got to understand that, right?
This is not too hot.
No, it should be.
Is this
perfect.
right? 2 hands?
Yes, 2 hands. Actually, one hand, left hand on the bottom of the bowl.
Okay.
Right hand on the side.
Being
of the bowl.
that you're the tea sommelier.
There you go.
So like this. This is how it would be done.
Yeah.
Do you have to buy all this equipment to make it work?
You know what? You don't. If you do have a metal whisk at home, you can use that. But you should get the sweetness of that right off the beginning, especially with the water temperature.
It's delicious. But if you can't do this because it tastes too green, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The other option is this product here, right, which you can buy. And there's a lot of versions that come with a little bit of sugar in them. So if you find it too green, you can go, you'll see there's a bit of a difference in this one, because you can see the sugar in there.
Try this first, I'm thinking, before you go to sugar.
But that makes a great latte.
Okay, so.
But I wouldn't recommend a lot of milk, because it does take away from the nutritional profile of the matcha.
Exactly. So I think we can do the real thing.
Yeah.
I'm for that. How nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And you're still teaching at VCC.
I am.
You are teaching at VCC.
We are, and we're always looking for new students to join the Tea Sommelier program.
How lovely. Thank you.
All right.
Brendan Waye. And remember, you can catch all of our conversations on YouTube or follow us on Twitter at Fanny Studio 4.